right, everyone, welcome to what is our first micro pepper farm vlog, where we're going to grow throughout the whole growing season from breaking ground to market. This year we're growing cherry peppers, and we're going to be producing a pepper relish from our micro pepper farm this year. So it's going to be a really fun process. So today what I want to talk about is the overall picture of our micro pepper farm. What I want to go over is some of the just different things that this whole project is going to entail. And I'm sure there's plenty of things that we're not thinking about yet. So it's going to be really great to kind of go through this whole process with all of you and be able to kind of find out some of those things as we're all kind of figuring them out as we go too. Again, what I said last week is that the only thing we really got going for us is that I've grown peppers before. This is going to be on a larger scale. Even though it's only a 1/27th of an acre, it's still a larger scale than what I'm used to growing in my small space backyard garden. So this is going to be a really fun project, and really glad that you're all joining along with me here too as we're going through this throughout the whole growing season. So I was out today, and what I was doing was I was staking out the different plots that we have on this really cool corner lot. So all right, now that we've got those two plots all staked out, we've got a really good idea of what we're looking at for our growing space. What we have are two really good sized plots, one of them at 18 by 38 and the other at 18 by 35. What that's going to give us is 8 rows in the first plot of 18 plants, and then the second plot 8 rows of 17 plants each. All of that's going to bring us to 136 plants in the first plot and 144 plants in the second plot, equaling 280 total plants in our farm. Now that's going to be a lot more plants than what I'm used to growing. In my backyard garden, I think I've gotten up to about 50 different plants in one of my seasons. This is really going to take it into a whole nother level, and I'm really excited about seeing what happens. So the next thing that we're going to hopefully be doing here in the video series is breaking ground. And that's going to take a tiller. We're going to till up this yard in these two different spaces. And what I want to ultimately do, though, is have the farm be a no-till growing space. So what I want to do is kind of really mix it up and get in some good compost and some really good organic fertilizers so that we can really get those plots cooking over a few weeks. And then we'll move into a video on sowing out all of our seeds. Now, I've got all of our seeds all ready. just going to get them planted out and have them timed out just right so that we can get them planted out into our farm spaces. And then after that, what we're going to do is just kind of follow along over those next couple of months as we're growing and taking care of these plots and making sure that we're getting the best optimal plants that we can. And then harvest time is going to come up, and we're going to have to really start figuring out what we're doing next, because this is where the work is really going to kick in. We're going to have to take and harvest 280 plants, and that is going to be a lot of cherry peppers. And we'll probably get a couple of different harvests off of these plants as well throughout the growing season. And then we'll have to start figuring out storage for the processed peppers. And what we'll have to do ultimately, I think, is get a commercial kitchen of some sort that we'll have to rent out in order to handle some of that processing. From there, we got to start figuring out how we're going to get that processed relish into some jars. So we'll have to pick out jars and labels. We'll have to get those designed as well. So there's going to be a lot of things to think about on that end too. So that'll be some really great videos coming up in the series, as well as once we get our product distinction through labels and jars, then what we've got to do is market them, get them out there on some shelves. So whether that's going to be our local farmers market or some of our co-ops. So what we'll have is our first batch going out locally here, and possibly to many of you watching through this series here once we start getting those parts of the whole process figured out too, shipping and all of that. So ultimately, there's going to be a lot of pieces to this puzzle, and I'm really glad that you're all going to follow along with me as we figure it all out. So thanks to my friend for going along with this whole micro pepper farm project. And for us here on the Urban Gardener, it's going to be a really, really fun garden adventure. Thank you all for following along with all of us here. And please, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button so that you can see all of these upcoming videos and see where we're going when we get to working and getting this farm all started up. So all right, before we end this video, I want to remind you to tune in this next Tuesday to follow along with our Johnny Appleseed Organic and Mother Earth News Gardening Invitational. We were picked among 6 different gardeners from across the country to compete in 6 different gardening categories. So check it out this next Tuesday, and I'll see all of you on our next video.